Hey guys, it's Steve here with 7-1 Studios, and I am going to show you the detailed dimensions of my homemade screen printing press. Okay, so now I'm going to give you the details on what you need to build this press. So it'd be a really good idea to grab a piece of paper and pencil, get ready to pause. I'll try to add images for the kind of specs, but just jot these numbers down. It's very simple. I'm assuming that you have carpentry skills, so this thing is ridiculously simple to build. So I'm going to go from the bottom layer, so meaning this layer is considered bottom, so there's really 1, 2, maybe like 3 layers that we're going to look at. So the bottom layer is shaped like an eye. You have 3, 1, 2, 3, 14-inch 2x4s in an eye shape. Okay, and I put this little piece right here. That's a 1.5 inch, just to help with little stability when you're printing. It might not even be necessary, but I like that little block piece. So it depends on where you put this thing on your table. So the second layer, which includes your pallet or platen arm, is 45 inches long. So this thing here is a 45-inch 2x4, and I sanded it really nice and smooth around the edges. So that's it. Buy premium pine. Also, it's better. It's nice and straight. You want a really nice straight piece. So on the second layer, you'll also need these. This is a 4-inch 2x4, so you need 2 4-inch 2x4s. All right, and that really completes the next layer. So now moving on to the third, which is basically this here. You have that's a 1x4, and I made it out of oak. You can use pine, but I had some scrap oak, and I thought it would be nice and strong. So that layer is a 9-inch 1x4. This piece right here is 9 inches. And then this is a 10-inch 2x4. Now those are connected by a hinge. Obviously the hinge goes on the bottom of the 2x4 and on top of the 1x4. If I was to build this again, I'd recommend getting the most heavy-duty hinge you can get, and I think they're close to like $10. This might be a $3 hinge. The heavy-duty ones, there's zero play in them. This one has a little bit of play, but it pretty much gets eliminated when you put these side pieces on here, these guide pieces. Okay, so that's that layer, and now for like the little extra pieces, you have a 5-inch piece of 2x4 here cut at diagonal, so this is 5 inches, this distance. And then this is a 2x2, which depending on where this thing falls is how you cut your angle here. So that's really, I can't give you the exact angle on that. But that piece is, this happens to be 5 inches also from that distance to that distance. All right, and then these little pieces of 2x2 that hold your C-clamps, or kind of angle your C-clamps out a little bit. This is, let me see, that's 1.5 inches here, and this is about 3/4 inch. So if you had 1.5 inch square piece of this, go out 1 inch or 3/4 and cut your angle. That way it just kind of keeps these C-clamps further out. Otherwise they would be, you could put them straight on here, but I don't know, I think it looks good like that. All right, so that's it as far as wood pieces. Besides, I'm sorry, these are 5-inch pieces of oak, also 1x4 oak that I put on here to help guide this down. And placement of that is, that's like 1 inch away from here. You can kind of finagle that. All right, so now on to the hardware. Okay, so what are you going to need for hardware? This is what you're going to need. You're going to need, most importantly, this piece of angled aluminum here, which you can find at Home Depot or Lowe's. Comes in big length, but it's very easy to cut. So it's you'll see it. It's just angled aluminum, which will go onto the face of your 2x4 here and countersink your screw heads. You'll need 2 of these C-clamps. These happen to be 5-inch, I think, C-clamps. And then what I did, I took a washer and I Gorilla Glued it to the C-clamp. Obviously, the easiest way to do that is to just lower the C-clamp, glue it, and then that's it. It holds it, because Gorilla Glue expands. But that works nice on your frame. It gives a wider footprint to hold your frame in. You'll need, what else? 4 eye hooks for your springs and turnbuckles. And just screw into the side here. Make sure you pre-drill pilot hole. Get those in there. I believe these are like 4-inch springs, and about I guess like 4-inch turnbuckles, or I'm not sure. But this gives your tension to hold your screen up. So if the screen starts falling on you, you just pull the tension on this, and it'll stay up like that. Then also you'll need 4 3.5-inch bolts, nuts, washers to hold this press to the table that you want to hold it to, or lag bolts, whatever you want to do. I like bolts and nuts because it holds it very secure and it won't back out. Now, an added feature I did on this one is this off contact screw. This thing backs up like so, and it is really long. You don't have to fast forward that part. Wow. In your 2x4, you just find these insert nuts, pound it down in there, take a little bolt like this, and I glued again a washer to it. If that's in focus, and that helps with your off contact. So that's it. Oh, the other hardware, you need a spring, a hinge. I think I mentioned that before, and your various screws to screw this whole thing together. And that's it. So hopefully that satisfies your needs on how to build this thing. And 1 color screen printing press out of 2x4s. Very simple. Okie dokie. Okay, so now I want to show you the homemade platen or pallet, whatever you want to call it, that you actually print your shirts on. I made this out of shelving material, or Formica. Obviously it's been used a lot, but basically it's a very simple design. This is 1 3/4 inch square, like literally that's 1 3/4 inch square wood. It has to be a little bit bigger because you have to have a 2x4 that slips underneath here with room for this screw to come down and clamp on and give you some tension. Now, this thing is made. Let me show you. That's like 7 heavy or so for this piece of 1x4. I also like to use oak with this because I pound in a insert nut like so into the center, and with your screw, and I made also an insert nut going up into, this is just a wooden knob, and so you screw up into that with some lock washers. Now you have something that when you screw down, it squeezes tight against the 2x4 and it holds your platen in place. So I'll show you how that slides on. Also, when you screw this into this Formica, I put a nice bead of Gorilla Glue in there too to hold this thing. And you don't want your screw heads coming up through here. So make sure you get the proper size that only catch so deep. I also put a little neckline on this. You don't have to. It can be squared off, but I think it was kind of a nice feature. So it slides on, just like so. And then you just screw it down. I suppose there's other ways to clamp it on there. If you want to make your own, that's cool. That's it. I made a few of these. I made a sleeve one. I made one for smaller shirts. This is good for tank tops and like kids. It's a lot narrower. Same concept. Slides on. And if you have too much play, I added pieces of felt. See that right in there? That you just buy at like Michael's. You know, it has a sticky back. And that gives a little bit more tight fit. So that's that. Okay. Ouch. Okay, in conclusion, I hope I was able to convey all the proper dimensions and materials, etc. you need to build a 2x4 screen printing press. One color, obviously. And that's it. If you have any comments or questions, please post them, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. All right, thank you very much. Bye-bye.